says, Sarai is helping her parents to plan her quinceañera. She found a hall which costs $55 per half hour with a $125 cleaning fee. The hall must be rented for at least 1.5 hours, but no more than 5 hours. To understand the problem fully, you need to know there's an independent variable. The independent variable is a variable that is not affected by the other variable, which would be a $125 cleaning fee. The dependent variable is the $55 per half hour fee because it's the rent and it's affected by the increment of time which it's rented. The situation is discrete because you can't rent it for more than 5 hours and you can't rent it for less than 1.5 hours. And I know this because it's in the problem. The domain of the situation is starting from 1.5 hours all the way through 5, the least and the max, and in parentheses is however long that hour amount is in half hours. It's easy. It's help us along later. And the range of the problem is 290, 345, 400, 455, 510, 565, 620, and 675. These are the final prices of the renting fee and the cleaning fee added together with the increment of time in half hours. An equation that best represents this situation is y equals 55x plus 125. It represents it because 55x would be the 55 per half hour, and the x would be the increment of time, and then plus 125, the cleaning fee, would get you y, your final price. And then, if Sahari rents the hall for 3 hours, how much will her parents pay? Well, her parents will pay $455 because if you plug it into the equation before, you get y equals 55x plus 125, and then y equals 55, and then 6 in parentheses plus 125, and then y equals 330 plus 125, which will end up y equals 455. And that is the final price if they rent it for 3 hours. Now, if Sahari can only spend $450, she can only rent the hall for 3.5 hours. I know this because if you plug it into the equation, or 5 into the equation as shown earlier in the domain, y equals 55 and 5 in parentheses plus 125, y will equal 275 plus 125, and then the final price will be 400. There's no other price in between 400 and 455, and 455 would be over her budget. So she can only rent out the place for 2.5 hours. That is how you solve the problem.